Okay.
But
he might have gotten there. We're not sure.
But he is on your right. He is playing blue, white, red control. He is against Brock, Kuryl-Champine, playing Bant. We take a look at the deck list here. We are going to be moving into game number 3. We'll go over Ben's first.
All right. Well, Ben, as you may or may not know, is a bit of an aficionado of the Flash archetypes.
Indeed.
He goes all the way back to the Moreland Hawk Runechanter's Pike builds. He's been playing it ever since. He is playing the red version, and it is the Flash shell with Restoration Angels, the full 4. He's got the Think Twices and Azorius Charms and Revelations, Turn Burns, a couple Verdicts. He doesn't have the Thought Scour engine. He's got more removal instead. The Turn Burns, 3 Turn Burn, 2 Pillar, 2 Supreme Verdict, and all 4 Azorius Charm, in addition to 1 Helix and a Spear. So a lot more removal instead of the Thought Scour shell, and then an Aether Link to sort of top it all off. Tie the room together.
As it's aching to do. As we do take a look at Champine's deck list here, he is a Bant strategy. I'm just going to list the cards off here because the numbers are a little bit wonky. 2 Voice of Resurgence, 4 Loxodon Smiter, 4 Restoration Angel, 4 Thragtusk, 2 Aetherling, and an Angel of Serenity to go along with 2 Syncopate, 4 Farseeks, 2 Selesnya Charm, 3 Azorius Charm, an Attention Sphere, 2 Supreme Verdicts, and 3 Sphinx Revelations. So this kind of falls into that Prime Speaker Bant type deck.
Yeah, the mid-range quote control.
Yeah,
unquote there.
Where it has like this, it controls players via creatures instead of spells. It doesn't actually have Prime Speaker in the deck, but that's basically what this strategy is. It's a mishmash of good cards. Honestly, it's a good card. It's a good stuff deck.
Yeah.
So we're underway here for game number 3, as you're going to see Brock play a Voice of Resurgence to start the show off with. Ben going to play an Augur of Bolas. We'll see if he can find anything. We'll see the option between Think Twice and Sphinx's Revelation. Always tough to put that rev to the bottom.
It hurts a little, but it looks like Ben's kind of shy on mana, so he's going to want to be able to draw a couple cards, get deeper into his deck, make those land drops, and get to the point where he can start doing more fancy things.
Now we're going to see a Farseek here.
I was going to say, is that
Brock.
a Farseek?
Yeah, so that's a promotional Farseek. I got used to that one last week, thankfully, so I can save you here. But he's going to search for a Hollow Fountain, and what we're going to see this match, it's very similar to the last one, is between Nelson and Buckingham. Nelson has not 1, not 2, but 3 copies of Voice of Resurgence to make life very difficult for Buckingham. And we're going to see if Friedman can overcome this card, or if this is just too difficult to beat for a Flash deck.
Well, the difference being that the blue-white-red Flash deck has access to Pillar of Flames. He's got 2 main and a 3rd in the board. Doesn't have 1 now, but his man is kind of tied up anyway. It's not like he would be able to hold up, rewind, even if he did have Pillar. So the time goes on, the game continues. Gavany Township threatens to eat the Augur.
So a very good attack here from Champine, and now we'll see if he's got like a follow-up like a Thragtusk, or we take a look at his sideboard here. He has Tristani, he has Jace Memory Adept. He's got a lot of different things that he can do, so we'll see if he has any good follow-up, but he doesn't. He's just going to pass it back.
It might be a Resto, it might be Counter Magic, we'll see. Although that attack is pretty sweet. If I were Ben, I probably would have blocked it. I probably would have gotten blown out, because I wouldn't want my opponent to be able to get 2 free damage and cast the Thragtusk.
Sure.
But then Brock not having the Thragtusk follow-up kind of would make that play look stupid.
So now you see Friedman considering his options. You see a clone in his hand. He's got Turn Burn. He's got Restoration Angel. But the big thing here is, again, he has to play completely on his main phase. And, this isn't something that you normally see from Friedman. As you can see him on the right side of the camera, there's never a lot of, indecision on his side when he's playing. I played against Ben a couple of times in sanctioned matches. I don't know if he's ever had to try to overcome this situation of a card changing the way he has to play the game in such fashion. It changes everything.
It has a really unique effect on the game, and unless you have a lot of experience playing against it, the lines aren't obvious. And nobody has a lot of experience playing against it because it came out like a month ago.
Yeah, they're impossible to find.
Yeah, and they're mythic. So,
and you see Friedman there. You see him cycle to Azorius Charms in his main phase and pass the turn back. If you're Brock, you're thrilled. That's your turn.
Yeah.
You're seriously, that's your turn. All right. Make my Voice Resurgence into a 3/3. And you see Friedman staring at the turn burn in his hand. He can't cast Burn to take care of the Voice Resurgence and give Champine an elemental token because he just activates Township in response. So now you see Friedman block with the Augur of Bolas to save himself a little bit of damage, and it looks like we may see a Supreme.
He's going to have to Verdict to 1 for 2 himself on
Yeah.
just voice.
Yeah.
That's how powerful the card is.
And this is part of the reason, AJ, that we haven't seen as many flash strategies recently. Again, you know, Voice of Resurgence hasn't worked its way all the way into the format yet, but the actual fear of having to play against this card for a flash deck, a Restoration Angel Thought Scour type deck that Friedman's playing, I mean, this just illustrates it perfectly. Look how difficult this is for him.
Yeah, 3-4 go.
Yeah.
Just like makes all of the flash decks cards like fairly embarrassing.
And it also turns on his cards in the form of Syncopate.
Yeah.
Which, you know, does he have to Syncopate this? Yeah, maybe yes, maybe no. You know, he's got that Township there to be able to push through that Restoration Angel. But the fact that his Counter Magic is on now, too, it's like, oh, you have to play in your main phase, and I have Counter Magic in my deck?
Complete role reversal.
Yeah.
This is what the flash deck tries to do to all of its opponents.
Yep.
And now it's just getting served, you know, all of the cards that it's playing at probably a lower rate than they would otherwise, because they're instants and they can play on the opponent's turn, are now just sorcery cards.
And now, I mean, now look what he can do. Now, he counters Restoration Angel, and Ben has to play in his main phase. And let's say that Ben even like Supreme Verdict away the Voice of Resurgence to give Brock a 1/1. It's like, all right, now I can play Aetherlink with no fear. What are you going to counter this? Absolutely, I'd love that.
Yeah.
You know, if you actually have to interact on your own turn, that means your shields are down. As you see, Ben is staring at a rewind that he just at no point can cast profitably. And now Aetherlink comes in against a blue-white-red flash deck. I mean, you guys can just queue up the tape of the Pro Tour. I kind of have an idea what happens now.
Yeah, we've seen enough Aetherling beatdown by now to know that this does not end well for Ben.
No.
And looking at his hand, I mean, not that we would even be able to find an answer because there really isn't one.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, he doesn't have the tools to put together a game plan here. At least it doesn't look like it now.
So here's a clone with a finger cross, I think. Which is, could this resolve, please? Oh, wow. That's not going to work how you want it to.
That's a misstep.
And you can explain how clone works.
All right, clone is not a triggered ability. It is an as comes into play. So if you want to blink out that Aetherling as Brock to make sure that the clone can't copy it, you have to respond to the spell that is clone. Once he says clone resolves and Ben chooses the Aetherling, it is too late to blink it out. That clone for Ben is now an Aetherling, which he can't blink it out. Ben's can't necessarily blink out, depending on the timing, because active player, non-active player triggers, and the stacking of that. But if Ben's clone tries to come back in when Brock's Aetherling isn't in play, then the clone can't recopy the Aetherling.
Correct.
So Ben kind of has like an unblockable, pumpable dude, but he doesn't have an Aetherling.
Yeah.
You know, if Brock were to have, like, say, an Azorius Charm to cast on when Ben attacked with his Aetherling, then that would work. You know.
So now we're gonna see Aetherling come across for some damage. Looks like he may have made it unblockable, or he may have, excuse me, just done a pump for 4 times to get across 8 points of damage. We'll get our life totals updated, see where we're at as far as that is concerned. But Friedman is going to untap. He's going to draw. He has a quote-unquote Aetherling in play. And let's see what he can do to try to turn this game around, because even though he got his own Aetherling, he can't stop Brock's Aetherling from becoming unblockable and dealing a bunch of damage.
Yeah, and the fact that he's still, like, spending his turn, think twicing, trying to make land drops, playing on his own turn, like, does not bode well for the flash deck.
And so you see Friedman scanning through his hand right now, looking at all these options. Yes, he doesn't have enough lands to cast them. The fun question to ask, or the hypothetical, is if he did, would he even be able to get back in this game?
Yeah, he's got like a couple of revelations that would only be for 2, and he can't really attack with his Aetherling because the Voice of Resurgence would attack back for more. It's a bad spot.
Yeah.
It's a real bad spot.
I like to say rock in a hard place. This is like, what's bigger than, like, a boulder? Is that bigger than a rock?
How about we just go harder than a rock? Between like a giant diamond and titanium.
Yeah. Here's a Syncopate to take care of the turn. That's a handshake. So Brock Kuryl-Champine is going to win this match 2-1 over Ben Friedman. Bant is going to take down blue-white-red control. You can call it blue-white-red flash if you want to. But at the end of the day, the Bant deck with Voice of Resurgence, or you could just call his archetype Voice of Resurgence, good luck.